Hi guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. Oh my god, sorry, I'm very tired today. I made this coffee just before to try and like get my energy up, and we didn't have any milk left, so I had to use almond milk, which I hate in coffee, and this is why. Like, is there any way to use almond milk in coffee and have it not curdle? That's disgusting. Anyway, I just want to say a massive thank you for everybody who watched my last video and liked and subscribed. I didn't expect so many people to watch it, and yeah, basically I'm just going to try and pump out all of the lipedema info as quickly as I can. I just feel like it's better if I just get all my knowledge out there for everybody to see as soon as possible. So that's what's happening with my channel at the minute. So I think over the next month or so, maybe next 2 months, it'll basically all just be lipedema videos, and then from there I'll start focusing more on fitness and nutrition. So today I'll be answering loads of questions that I get asked most frequently. Yeah, just loads of things. Well, not really loads of things, only 10 real questions, but there's a lot of information in there. So stick around and hopefully I fill your brains with some more knowledge. Yeah, so to the first question. Okay, so question 1. How much do your surgeries cost? Why am I doing that? How much do your surgeries cost? So I calculated the other night to make sure I had the exact number. My surgery was 10,600 New Zealand dollars, which was 5,995 euros. It is different for every surgeon. It depends where you go, but that's how much my surgeon charges per surgery. So in terms of travel, the flights cost me $4,000 there and back. I just paid a little bit extra because I got premium economy on the way back. We took 3 different flights. So for the first short flight, I didn't bother, but for the last 2, I think one might have been 9 hours and the other one like 14. I can't remember which was which. But obviously because they were more lengthily, I wanted to make sure I was a bit more comfortable. That didn't work out too well though, because for the first flight that we paid for premium economy for was with Lufthansa. There was no extra space. I may as well have just got basic economy, and I was stuck in like the middle of the plane. So it was me and my mum in the middle, and then we had like 2 randoms on either side of us on the aisle seats, and these 2 people decided to nap the entire time. So I was basically busting to go to the toilet the whole time because I had these super tight compressions on. I was very swollen, my legs were throbbing, like I've never been in so much pain in my life. Yeah, so just make sure you research it, or just make sure you can stay in the country a little bit longer if you're going overseas, just to make sure you're not as swollen as I was. Just whatever works for you. But I had to go at the time just because my mum had to go back to work, so yeah. Air New Zealand, however, was a lot better. They had a lot of space between the chairs, and they also had a little recliner thing for your legs.
Do we dare?
We dare.
Oh.
That didn't come out too high though, so I just went and found 2 extra pillows and piled them on top of each other, and I could just lift up my legs a little bit more. And I was actually really comfortable for that whole plane ride. I can't remember, yeah, which one was longer, but I was really happy with that flight, and yeah. And how did I pay for it? So I ended up just getting a huge loan, which is probably not the best thing to do when you're already in debt with student loan. But for me, this is really important. I was getting worse and worse, and I was already struggling a lot in my everyday life with the pain, and like literally it was just, I just had to get it done. There was no way that I was going to be able to save that money on my own, just with the living situation that I was in and life at the time. But yeah, so it depends what you want to do. If you want to just save money, go ahead and do that. But yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to afford a loan. So with the accommodation, me and my mum just split it, and if I recall correctly, I feel like it was quite cheap. I think it worked out to be about $100 a night. We didn't travel anywhere else apart from like the little tiny town that we were staying in, and I think because it was such a quiet little town, that's why it was so cheap. yeah, because me and my mum are like both so anxious and scared of traveling, so we didn't venture out too far or go different places. So yeah, that was quite cheap. Yeah, so just look around and see what's available. I would say look at staying somewhere where you have access to transport, like public transport, shops, like all basic necessities close by, because after your surgery you will not be able to walk very far, and like you do need someone with you kind of all the time. So if that person that you're with needs to go shopping to go get you like some food, they really shouldn't leave you on your own, because you might faint. Anything could happen if you stand up too quickly. Like, it's just, yeah, so make sure it's somewhere that you could get to easily as well. Yeah, my mum managed to find us a place that was literally located in the little town, and it was maybe like a 200-meter walk to the tram and bus stop, and then we had little bakeries and coffee shops and little supermarket and pharmacy and everything right there, and a laundromat, which was awesome. So yeah. P.S. do you like love my Mac Miller shirt? Shalom got this for me, and I'm obsessed because he knows I like love Mac Miller. May he rest in peace. Oh my god, so sad. But yeah, so look it. Anyway, next question is, how long is recovery and how bad was it? I can honestly say that recovery wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. To fully recover, it can take up to a year, if not longer, and that's just simply because of the swelling. Swelling in your legs takes a long time to settle down, but the bruising from the surgery was gone within like 3 to 4 weeks. I was taking arnica tablets and putting on arnica cream all the time to try and help. Most of the swelling went down after like 2 to 3 months, maybe 4 months, and I would still get swelling by the end of the day quite a lot. And it was only up until maybe February that I noticed that my ankles like stopped swelling. So yeah, it takes a while. And okay, so like when I say recovery wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, like during the day it was fine, apart from the day after surgery where I fainted in the shower because I'm a dumb fuck and thought that I'd be fine. Let me explain. So I am the type of person that just needs to shower. I like being clean, and I just felt really grotty after my surgery and all sticky and gunky and whatever. And I felt fine. I'd been awake for a couple of hours and I was like, oh, I'll be walking around, I'm all good, like I can just go hop in the shower. So I did, and yeah, we only had a shower and we didn't really have any chairs or anything to put in there. Yeah, so I was just like standing in the shower like normal, and I was like, yeah, sweet, nice, and started washing. Next minute I'm like, oh shit, like I feel a bit lightheaded.
Oh dear, we are in trouble.
Yeah, I just remember like I could feel it coming on, and then I was like calling to my mum, and I was like, Mum, I think I'm gonna faint. And she comes rushing in. Like, she had no idea what to do. She couldn't even handle looking at my bruises or anything. Like, she hates that kind of thing. So she just full-blown panicked at this whole ordeal, and I, like me, in the middle of fainting, am trying to tell her to like what to do. So anyway, so we got the chair out. Like, I'm like walking around this room naked and just trying to sit down. So finally I'm in the chair and I'm just like breathing. I'm like, Mum, I'm gonna fucking die. And then I could just feel the wave, and yeah, I like pass out for a couple of seconds. And my mom's just like freaking out. And I was like, my mom's like, the doctor said to put your legs up if you faint. So I'm like I kind of get back to it, and then she's like putting me on the floor and is like lifting my legs up to get the blood out of my legs to everywhere else. Yeah, my poor mum, like she was as white as a ghost. Like she probably looked worse than I did. Like, it was so funny. And I was fine after that, but it was a bit scary. Like, no one likes fainting. I actually thought I was gonna die. But that was the worst part for me. And then also sleeping. Oh god. Like, I don't want to scare you guys, but sleeping and like just nighttime after surgery is horrific. And it's just because like they give you these sleeping, they call them panties, so they're really hot, and like they're full length, come up to the waist, but they've got the gorgeous like groin / bum hole. You could just effortlessly use the bathroom. God, they're so bad. Yeah, so you wear those at nighttime, and I was just swelling so bad, and they would really cut in behind the knee and around my ankles as well. So quite often I would wake in the night, like I would hardly even sleep. Like I'd be up every 20 minutes to half an hour just shifting, and like the first week was awful. But yeah, it was like cut in really deep, and if I would just wake up with this insane burning sensation, like where it was cutting in, like honestly felt like someone was running a hot knife through my leg. Like it was so bad. But that was the worst part. Like during the day it's fine because you're walking around. Oh no, actually the first time you put the compression stockings on after your surgery, oh my god, like, because yeah, these compression stockings that you have to wear to drain the fluid, they are so tight, and they're tight on your regular legs. So post-surgery, when you've swollen up like a bloody balloon, and then like you've got the incision points as well with the stitches, and pulling those tights up, oh my god, like it was so bad. And I found that they were catching on my leg hairs as well, and because the skin is so sensitive, because you're not allowed to shave, so your leg hairs are long. Yeah, they're gonna look mighty sexy, by the way. Yeah, so your leg hairs are quite long, and pulling those up, like it just sticks, and it feels 100 times worse than what it actually is, just because the skin is so sensitive there. So be prepared for that. Oh, maybe I just like shouldn't tell you these things. Maybe it's just better to just take it as it comes, because that's what I did. I had no idea what to expect going into it, and I made it out. So yeah, like there are bad points. Oh, my lymphatic drainage, oh my god, like who did I go to? I went to the recommended clinic for my surgeon I went to the recommended clinic that my surgeon told me to go to, but there were two people that I went to, and they were very different. Like the first dude ravaged my legs, like absolutely ravaged, to the point where I was in tears because I was in so much pain.
So good, isn't it?
So good, I don't know what I've done to deserve it.
Like this was fresh, like a day or two after surgery, and this dude is like full on, like deep tissue massaging me. I had lymphatic massage before. It's supposed to be gentle and just to like softly encourage the fluid out of your legs. But this dude was just bloody going for it, hey? Like I was, oh. And then after that, I was like, Mum, like that's not normal. Like I'm gonna go to someone else. And then I found this really lovely guy, and he was so gentle, so soft, and like I was really happy with him. So yeah, just make sure you ask what kind of like technique they use first. But by fuck, like that was the most painful thing. That was worse than the surgery. Oh, anyway, so those are like the worst points. So yeah, just take a lot of pain meds, get some ice packs. If you have a bath, just soak your feet or your legs in ice if you can, but most of the time you're supposed to be wearing your compression, so you can't really do that. Or just put ice packs on you, yeah, and just get through it, really. Okay, so next question. Do I wear compression or do any other treatments? So the only time I ever wore compression was before my surgery and after. My surgeon said it was fine. I didn't need it after the recommended 8 weeks. So I literally dead on bang 8-week day. I was like, see ya, because these things are terrible. But other surgeons recommend you wear them for a long time or even for the rest of your life. I don't know. I guess it depends where your body's at, what stage you're at, or yeah, but I've been fine. Like I don't really swell. Yeah, I don't think I had much swelling issues in the first place, so I think that's probably why. And no, I don't do any other treatments. Like I know the other treatments that there are is like lymphatic drainage and like dry brushing. Some people have like the leg pump thing to get the fluid out. But yeah, basically all those things do is just help to move the fluid in your legs or your arms or wherever you have the issues. So nothing is going to help get rid of the fat. Like that's just always going to be there. All these treatments are just for either pain relief or yeah, just removing the fluid. That's basically it. And I never really had an issue with fluid retention, so I didn't really bother. But I don't know, maybe I should start. There's definitely something that I might look into, like the dry brushing maybe. Just because now I can't get my second surgery for like maybe another year to 2 years because of COVID. So I might need to look at managing my pain and swelling in my upper legs. Okay, so this is another good question. Is surgery a must, and how many surgeries do you need? Yes and no. It depends on your stage and circumstance, really. I think in the end, surgery is kind of inevitable because that's basically the only way to reset it, and if you don't have surgery, it's just gonna keep progressing unless you're like the lucky few where it just stays the same throughout your life. Obviously, if you're in an earlier stage and you're not having any issues, like you can see that you have lipedema, it's a cosmetic issue, but if you're not having any pain or swelling or discomfort in any way, then obviously surgery isn't like crucial. Even though you think you might have it or you get diagnosed, don't feel rushed to get it. I know I got my surgery really quickly after finding out about it, but that's just because it was actually like destroying my life. Like, it was really affecting me. Yeah, it was growing rapidly, so I kind of just wanted to get rid of it before it got any worse and before I got any other problems. And how many surgeries do you need? Again, that's dependent on the situation. I need 3 surgeries. So I've had 1, so I still need to get my thighs and my bum done and my arms. My arms aren't that much of an issue for me. Like, there is definitely lipedema fat there, and like you press on it, it hurts, but it's not causing any issues for me yet, apart from like give me the good old bat wings. So that's not something I'm worrying about. Oh my god, hang on, sorry, just look at my baby hairs, man. So that's not something that I'm like actually worried about at the moment, so that can wait a few years. But yeah, if you're at like a later stage, you might need multiple surgeries on one area. Like, you might need to get your calves done twice or your like thighs done twice. It literally just depends on how aggressive you have it, because obviously they can't take like too much fat out at once because it can be really risky because there's like blood loss and all the stuff. Like, they can only take a maximum amount out at a time, so they have to make sure they do it safely. So a really good question that I got is what kinds of lipo do they use for lipedema, and how is it different to regular cosmetic liposuction? Now, I'm actually really glad this question was asked. I have talked to a few women about it before. So liposuction for lipedema is completely different to liposuction for cosmetic reasons, and this is simply because the surgery needed for lipedema needs to be a lot more gentle than the regular cosmetic surgery. There are 4 different types of lipedema liposuction. There's water assisted, there's tumescent, there's power assisted, and then there's VASER. All of these basically are just different variations of breaking down or shrinking the fat cells before they are removed, and all of them aim to reduce the damage made to your lymphatic vessels, which are super fragile. I did mention this in my last video. So the lymphatic vessels with lipedema patients, they are so weak and so fragile because of the pressure that's put on them by the fat. And with these surgeries, there needs to be extra care taken to make sure that these vessels are protected and not damaged, because then if they are damaged, then we risk developing lymphedema, which is where the lymph fluid collects in your legs and it can't drain on its own, and that is irreversible, and you end up getting extremely swollen legs, and it's very painful. And yeah, I'll drop a picture so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, basically regular cosmetic liposuction just isn't going to cut it. So please, I cannot stress enough the importance of finding a surgeon that is A, experienced with lipedema, and B, has extensive knowledge of lipedema. And I know that there's plenty of surgeons out there that claim that they have this experience and this knowledge, but really just look at their track records. How long have they been doing these surgeries? What are the outcomes of these surgeries? What are the patients' reviews? I found a few where they had a lot of not very good reviews, and their results were not very good either. And it's just like, it's a surgery, like it's a really risky thing, so you want to make sure you're going to the right person. Yeah, it's quite a tricky thing. So that's just one thing, sorry, that that I think is really crucial to do thorough research on, because this is your body. You can't risk getting infections or doing further damage to your legs. Like, lipedema is bad enough as it is. You don't want to add any other health complications on top of that. Yeah, I'll put in the description like very detailed description of what the different liposuctions are and what they do. Yeah, just because I want to keep this video brief. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, I'll drop that in there. Okay, now, this question I get asked all the time, and I know it seems really silly. So, why did I choose Dr. Heck, and why did I go all the way to Germany? Alright, so I know it seems silly because I'm in New Zealand, and there's some doctors in Australia that can do the surgery. But basically it goes back to what I just said before with the experience and stuff. I had done extensive research and looked at all the track records and all the results and all that kind of stuff. And once I stumbled upon Dr. Heck and researched into him, I just felt like he was the most experienced. He has 20 years experience dealing with just lipedema, like specializing in lipedema. Also, the reason he got into it in the first place is because his daughter had lipedema. And so I feel like with Dr. Heck having this personal connection with it, he cares about it on a deeper level than other surgeons might, and his intentions behind doing the surgery are just a little bit more genuine. Yeah, and I done a lot of research and I felt like his results were amazing. I found a few surgeons would like take too much fat out and have the legs looking kind of misshapen or just unnatural, but yeah, Dr. Heck would leave like a really nice feminine shape to the legs and looked really beautiful and sculpted, and yeah, so I was really happy with that. And I found like a few of his patients that he treated a few years back, and they are still doing well without any of the fat coming back or returning. And yeah, I just thought, well, if I'm gonna do it, I may as well do it right. And I felt like it's just an extra bit of money. Like, I think it actually ended up being cheaper than what going to Australia would anyway. So that was just how I felt at the time. Both me and mum were just like, oh, may as well just go all in and just get it done right. So yeah, that's why I went there. Alright, is surgery a cure? No. There is no cure for lipedema at the moment. Surgery is basically just a way to reset. But like I said, some women have had surgery and not have it come back for many, many years. And there just isn't enough research. Surgery is quite a new thing, so they don't have enough evidence of cases to show what effects the surgery actually has long term. Yeah, so basically it's just like another waiting game, and everybody's different. Like, it might come back, it might not. Yeah, but I don't regret surgery at all. Like, I was totally aware that it's not a cure. Yeah, I would happily do it again in a heartbeat. I would do this surgery 10 times if I had to. And that's basically just because it's made such a massive difference to my life and my quality of life. I could do so many more things now, and yeah, it's kind of reversed my lipedema. Like, I was quite big before, and so I was starting to have major issues, and even if it comes back now, at least I can recognize it and deal with it sooner before it gets too bad anyway. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I worry a lot about it coming back, and I feel like it's a genuine fear for basically every woman that has lipedema. And I don't want to get emotional about this, but like, it is scary. It's like you go through this ordeal and pay all this money and basically put your life on hold, and you don't know if it's a sure thing. Yeah, I get quite paranoid, and if I feel like my legs are looking bigger one day, like I like feel around, I'm like, oh my god, are there any lumps? Like, is there any more pain? Like, I get quite worried about it. But again, it's out of my control, and like I said, at least if it does come back, I know I can get surgery again, but I don't know if I can ever afford it again. But take it as it comes, I guess. Should I be eating a specific diet? Now, I know when I first started researching lipedema, like all I saw was keto, anti-inflammatory diets, like just everywhere, and how it was good for lipedema. This literally like freaked me the F out because 1, I hate diets, 2, I love carbs and sugar, and 3, yeah, that's enough for me. Okay, so I wasn't going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I like totally give kudos to the women that do this diet and have seen results, like amazing. But I feel like, this is just my opinion, like I'm not saying I'm a scientist or whatever. I know for a fact that lipedema fat cannot be metabolized. You can't burn lipedema fat. Once it's there, it's there. But what makes it worse is inflammation. So going on anti-inflammatory diets does help because it reduces that inflammatory response, and so therefore reduces the pain and the swelling that's associated with lipedema. And then with keto diets, because it just puts your body into this like fat burning mode, it doesn't eat away at your lipedema fat, but I feel like for women who are in later stages of lipedema who cannot exercise and because of that end up getting bigger and bigger because they're just the lack of mobility, keto is a great option because it takes minimal effort and it literally does just burn that fat. And then in reducing your overall body mass, of course you're going to feel better because you're not as heavy. There's not as much pressure on your legs as there was before. It doesn't mean that your lipedema fat cells are shrinking, but definitely your normal fat cells are, and it does make a big difference overall. But yeah, definitely avoid foods like dairy, sugar, and refined carbs, and like processed food if you are experiencing a lot of swelling and pain with lipedema. Those things do just aggravate it, and they're not really that good for people with inflammatory issues in their body. So yeah, it just depends on you and what you're able to do. My surgeon said that you don't need to go on a specific diet. Like as long as you eat well, you moderate your treats, and you just have a balanced lifestyle, you should be fine. So yeah, since then I've kind of just been like trying to limit my sweets, but I have a huge sweet tooth, so I do cave a lot, but I'm only human. But yeah, I definitely am not the type to go on a super restrictive diet, and yeah, I'm fine for now. I do get a bit of swelling here and there if I overindulge in sugar, and I can see it more now. So yeah, like no, there's no like real specific diet that you have to go on. It's on personal preference and what symptoms you are experiencing. But if you feel like you need extra help, if you're getting a lot of pain or swelling, then maybe look into these options. Okay, now this is like a really intense question that I felt should be talked about anyway. Like, no one's asked me this, but this is something that I had to think about during my process, and I feel like it might be helpful for other people. Should you have kids before you have surgery? So this is something I didn't even think about until I had to go see my vascular surgeon. And yeah, at the time I was in a long-term relationship, and he basically said you might want to look at having children before the surgeries because it can come back. And this literally freaked me out so much, and I was just like in hysterics crying because it's just not something I thought that I would really have to think about. I was like 22 at the time, definitely not ready for kids. Like I always said, like I wasn't planning on having kids till I was like maybe 28, 30. And yeah, it just like really hit home because I was like, this sounds so self-absorbed, but because I had never enjoyed my body, I actually just wanted the surgery, and I wanted time to enjoy my body. And I felt like if I had kids, I wouldn't have my body, and I don't want to, like, I'll be a mum. Like, I want to be like wearing short skirts and like going to town and partying and having a good time and just enjoying being young, you know? Like, I don't want to have to worry about children in order, like, to get the surgery and to have the legs that I always wanted. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous, and, like, I probably sound like an asshole, but that's just what went through my head. And I basically was just like, fuck it, like, I'm just gonna get surgery anyway. If it comes back when I have kids, I'll deal with it then, but I want it now, and I want to have a chance to just enjoy being young and enjoy my body and not have to regret this time in my life, you know? Like, oh, not that I would ever regret having kids. Like, I love children to bits. I work with children, like, they're my life. But yeah, I just definitely wasn't ready, and I wasn't gonna rush into having children just so I can get the surgery either. So yeah, but this is a question that some of you will have to face as well, so it is worth thinking about. Yeah, it is hard, but that was my mindset anyway. Yeah, sorry if this ended up being like a little bit more emotional or a little bit more serious, but no, these are things that like need to be discussed, and I actually really enjoyed talking about these topics, and I'm actually going to go on to do individual videos and go really in depth for a few of these, just because I feel like this information needs to be talked about more clearly. It just needs to be out there. So yeah, I hope you guys found it helpful. And if you have any other questions, you know where to find me. Leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please like and subscribe, because it does go a long way to help support my channel, and it helps me to support other women as well. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video.